So you're telling yourself, yeah, the Dodge City holster builds are pretty nice, and the Regulus hits like a fucking truck, and yeah, the D50 actually can one-shot bosses with ravenous buffs. But you're looking for a pistol build that you want to just go into a heroic mode and consistently do pretty sweet damage on all the mobs coming out, and not just waiting for that fucking holster to charge up. Well, stick around, watch this video, you'll enjoy the results. Hey agents, it's Graphology here, bringing you another Division 2 video. This one is something that I threw together based on the official Discord channel. I know a lot of people were asking, like, in the raid builds discussion tab, what's a good pistol build? Well, here's a good pistol build for you. Let me pull it right up here. So let's go right into the armor pieces. You notice I got the new Heartbreaker set that was introduced in TU15. It did take a nerf, however, it is still very acceptable in terms of overall damage output. The thing I wanted to note on this Heartbreaker is that I'm re-rolling all of the armor cores into weapon damage. So if you notice on the chest plate, the gloves, the knee pads, and the holster, you need to re-roll all of the main stats from armor to weapon damage, okay? So with that being said, it's going to take you a little bit of time to get this together if you're farming this fresh up, because your secondary stats need to be either crit damage or crit hit chance. Reason is because that is going to be your main stat priority as far in terms of your secondary stats. So the rule of thumb is you got to farm Heartbreaker, these four pieces, until you get either crit damage or crit chance as a secondary, and then re-roll the main to the red weapon damage. All right. Now the other two pieces I would say are mandatory for this build as well if you want to get the max output out of it. It's going to be the Douglas and Harding named Punch Drunk, which essentially gives you 20% headshot damage. So that's additive onto your stat sheet. You get a weapon damage roll. So the only thing that you're going to be re-rolling on here is the crit damage. All right. And then for the backpack, you need to get a memento. All right. I tried running this with, say, like a red Providence backpack or a Seska. You can do that, but you just don't have the survivability even with that for what the build kind of brings to the table. All right. The memento gives you essentially two skill tiers for your shield, which is going to be very important later in this build setup. And it also gives you bonus armor, weapon damage, and skill efficiency, which essentially, the skill efficiency goes for your shield health and your shield repair. The bonus armor is just added, survivability just in case for, you're not going to be face tanking by any means. But it does give you a little bit of extra buffer. And the weapon damage is key for basically any weapon damage build, which is this. All right. For the weapons, you're going to be rolling an AA-12, and that is mainly due to the fact that it will get your Heartbreaker stacks up the quickest using the linked laser pointer. So right off the pull on any engagement, to get your Heartbreaker stacks up, you want to have this out. You want to get into cover. Just blind fire if you have to over the side. Get shots in so that your Heartbreaker is at least 50%, if not full, before you switch to your pistol and continue damage. The secondary weapon doesn't matter. That one I put a lullaby there because, or the sweet dreams rather, because it's that one shot on a red or a purple mob. With that being said, it can be whatever you want. It can be a sniper rifle. It can be, you're not really going to be using it as the moral of the story. Okay. And then for the pistol, this build actually does have kind of a set pistol that you should use. And there's one of two of them that I'm going to tell you. The first one is more geared towards survivability, and that is the named TDI card custom. Okay, this thing has a pretty good amount of damage output. It's got the RPM doesn't matter because every pistol you're clicking with your mouse finger. You're not just going to hold down the button. And the mag is a pretty solid 18 with the plus 11 round. All right, but the key thing here is the skill tier that you get from it. Okay, that's going to increase your survivability. It essentially, every skill tier towards your shield is going to give you roughly about 2 million HP onto your shield. So it's like give or take. I think it's like 1.8 mil. But regardless, that is a huge increase in survivability for your shield. All right. And then the skill that you want to get with this weapon is In Sync. And I'll explain this further when I go into the skill selections. But In Sync will essentially give you 30% weapon damage, uptime. I'd say about 90 to 100% uptime on this with the skills that I've got. All right. So those are going to be your weapons. Your specialization I alluded to, you're going to be running Technician for the linked laser pointer for your AA-12 or your ACS-12. That'll help get your Heartbreaker up. It also gives you a skill tier, so that again will go towards your skills and up your shield, strength as far as that goes. The grenade is nice to have just for robotic dogs and other, kind of machines running around with that EMP. Okay, so now on to the skill selections. So we ran over that you're running Technician. You're going to be running the Bulwark Shield is your primary skill that you need to have for this setup. The Bulwark Shield is actually going to be at tier 4, I believe. And the reasoning for that is you're going to get 2 off of the Memento with the blue and the yellow core. You're going to get 1 off of your pistol, and you're going to have 1 off the Technician specialization. So that's 4 skill tier points onto your shield. Look at the health of your shield. You're at 9.7 million HP, and you're at a full red build, essentially, for weapon damage, all right? So your maxed weapon damage potential with this build, but you still have a 10 million health shield at your disposal with the pistol damage, all right? For the mods on your shields, you want to be running active regen on the top right, holstered regen on the top left, and holstered regen on the bottom, all right? Do not go into shield health, by the way. People roll shield health on those. That percentage only goes to your base skill tier 1, or skill tier 0, rather, health pool. So you're actually not getting a lot of health added onto your shield. It's better to go with the regen. All right. For your second skill, now this is debatable here. There's 2 options. So the first option with In Sync, if you're running In Sync, which you should be, you're going to be running this drone with Striker. And the reason I'm picking drone with Striker is because drone with Striker cannot be line of sighted. They cannot be, a mob can't take cover and your drone will just stop attacking. The drone will always fly and keep attacking. So in essence, you're always going to be getting that skill damage increase as long as the drone is active. And for most encounters, the drone will be active for the majority of the fight. Not to mention, you've got a tier 3 skill drone, so it's going to have about 3 times the health pool of, say, just a red build running in sync with a 0 tier drone. All right, so these drones are actually pretty durable, is what I'm getting at. That will give you essentially the double up on In Sync right here. So let me go back to here. So In Sync, you're going to get 15 from the hitting an enemy with your weapon for skill damage. You're going to get 15 for weapon damage from the non-shield skill damaging an enemy. When both of them are up together, it doubles to 30%. Now, the drone's not going to be a huge increase of damage for you, but just remember, you are getting some of that drone damage as well. In the higher content, it's not noticeable. The drone's not going to be shredding anything down. But with that being said, it's still a good, kind of sentry type thing happening for you. If for whatever reason you don't want to run the drone and get the In Sync, you can also run, Killer. You can run Flatline here. You can actually run the new Flatline amplified pulse damage on an M445A1. So like if I were to roll this weapon, right, with damage out of cover here, and I could re-roll this talent, it would be the Flatline talent, because you're essentially going to be getting headshots with this build. You're going to be up close. You're going to be aiming for the head, and it will, with the Heartbreaker, you're going to get a pulse. So even though you're not running the TAC laser all the time in engagements, as long as you get that headshot, the Heartbreaker is going to increase your damage, and you're also going to get the Flatline talent, which is essentially 15% multiplicative damage to pulsed enemies. Okay, so it's a toss-up. It's whether you want an extra skill tier on your shield so that you have another 1.8 million health on your shield, and and basically more survivability, Or you can go, you know, with an like you could roll a card, or you could roll an M445A1. You could get damage out of cover as the secondary attribute, which would give you 10%-ish multiplicative damage. And then you could roll the talent in sync or flatline, and that would be perfectly fine too. I think in sync honestly edges out the 30% additive, will edge out a 15% multiplicative. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the math checks out. All right. So yeah, that's basically the build, guys. All right, let's go over to the gun range. I didn't set this up prior to starting this video, so I apologize for that. We're going to set it to a named mob, and we're going to be at 5 meters, and I'm just going to show you guys quick. So you're going to start engage. You can either do this or do this. You're going to hit, so you got full. We're going to switch out. We're going to throw out our drone, and we're going to send them on this, and watch the damage numbers now. Look at how much damage I'm doing. You're looking at the numbers that I'm hitting, right? So I'm hitting about 2 million crits on the head. All right, it's about 2 million, and that my drone's on another target right now. It's not even shooting at the main target, but this is the damage that you can put out with this thing. All right, and I have a 10 million health shield. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this build. It's something different from a regulus or like a D50 with the ravenous build. All right. But this is like a steady, consistent damage pistol build that you can have fun with in heroic mode, legendary mode. I mean, if you want to try to bring it into a raid, I wouldn't suggest like a new player doing that. You should probably be running with like an AR or something. But with that being said, it hits pretty hard, so I wouldn't say don't do it, okay? I do want to say one more note, and I'm going to go back on the skills for a second. If you want even more survivability and you're not running in sync, say you're running the flatline, for example, you can change out this Hive. Because you're running Technician, you can actually run the Artificer Hive, and this will heal your shield. I think it's about 50% of its health every 10 seconds. So if you feel like you want to run flatline on a pistol with damage out of cover, this could be a very good alternative skill, so you don't have to worry about that in-sync proc. Instead, you could throw this Artificer Hive on, or a Reviver Hive variant, and you can either have a self-res if you go down, or you could have a shield recharge, essentially, every 10 seconds or so. All right? So that's the last note. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry I kind of rambled on there at the end. But yeah, leave a like and sub if you liked it. If you didn't like it, leave me a comment explaining why, what can I do better, etc. I'll leave some gameplay right after this so you can see the build in action. But I'll see you guys on my next video. All right, peace. Okay guys, so I'm using this pistol build that I just showed you. We're in an emergency bunker. Gonna run up here and just grab some Heartbreaker stacks with my AA-12. And then we're going to engage everybody that comes out with our shield. And I'm going to throw up my drone while I'm at it. Okay, so stacks are just about good. I'm going to switch. Let's get a reload for a second. System's curtailed. System restored. Now I'm just going to stand here and absolutely destroy everything in my wake while they can't friggin' touch me. And notice too the stability of the weapon. Like I'm basically able. Okay, I'm gonna throw up another drone because I have it back up. Get that in sync going. My Heartbreaker stacks are low, so I'm gonna just come up here quick, get them back up. Now I'm back up. I'm almost at full, and there we go. Where are they? There. So I got two heavies right in front of me. I do not have my shield up. Usually helps to have a usually helps to have a shield. Both heavies coming out. Luckily, I have enough bonus armor. This guy can. This teammate can get the F out of my way, so I can actually do some damage. Shooting him in the butt. There we go. And there we go. Alright, so that's basically the gameplay, guys. It's run up AA12 or ACS12, get your Heartbreaker stacks up to close to full, and then just hit your shield button and you're good.